Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. Today we'll learn about the past continuous tense, a very important past tense, and it's part of a video series including all 12 English tenses. We use the past continuous to say what we were in the middle of doing at a particular moment in the past. For example, I can say, we were singing. When were we singing? In the past. The activity was not complete. We were doing it. As an exercise, you can think to yourself, what were you doing before you started watching this video? For me, I was cooking. Or maybe you were eating. Or were you watching TV? These are all past continuous sentences. The structure of the past continuous is subject plus was or were plus the main verb in the present participle form. Here are some examples. I was running, you were running, she or he was running, it was running, they were running, we were running. The structure for negative sentences is as follows. Subject plus was/were plus not plus main verb in the present participle. So a negative sentence in the past continuous might look like this. I wasn't eating. They weren't eating. I was not becomes wasn't, and this is called a contraction. You may use contractions if you wish, but you don't have to. You can say they were not or they weren't. For question sentences, the structure is was/were plus subject plus main verb. Were they talking? Was she talking? Sometimes it can be confusing to spell the present participle form of verbs. Here are some general rules. If the verb ends in a consonant, you simply add ing. If the verb ends with a consonant and then a stressed vowel and then another consonant, like stop, t, a, p, you double the last consonant and you add ing. So stop becomes stopping. If the verb ends in ie, you take away the ie, add a y, and add ing. So lie becomes lying. If the verb ends in a consonant and then e, you take away the e and add ing. So come becomes coming. There are some exceptions to these rules, but these are the basic rules. If you memorize them, you should be okay in most situations. So, the important question. How do we use the past continuous? The past continuous tense expresses action at a particular moment in the past. The action started before that moment, but has not yet finished at that moment. Looking at this picture may be helpful. In the past, I started doing something. So I was doing something before I finished doing something. But we have not arrived at that point of finishing. So we are in the past, but we are still in the middle of doing something. That's how we use the past continuous. Here's another example. At 5 o'clock, I was eating dinner. So this basically means at 5 o'clock, I was in the middle of eating dinner. When we use the past continuous tense, our listener usually knows or understands what time we are talking about. Here are some examples. I was working at 9 p.m. last night. They were not playing basketball yesterday morning. He was writing an essay this afternoon. In all three of these sentences, we explicitly state the time. We use the past continuous to express a long action, and we use the past simple to express a short action that happens in the middle of the long action. Here are some examples. I was watching TV when the raven flew in my window. Watching TV is the long action, and the raven flying in my window, the raven flew in my window, is a short action that happened in the middle of watching TV. So because of this, we use the past simple for fly. The raven flew. Here's two more examples. They were playing basketball when the rain started. We were playing chess while the musicians played. We often use the past continuous tense in stories. We use it to describe the background situation. Often the story starts with the past continuous tense and then moves into the past simple tense. Here's an example. A man was walking down the street when he saw a sparrow sitting in a tree. The sparrow looked at the man and sang a song. Here's another example. I was reading last night at 9:30 p.m. We state the precise moment in the past when this was happening, 9:30 p.m. Okay, that's the basic usage of past continuous. Now we're going to go into more advanced rules. So if you're interested in that, please stick around. The first advanced rule. When we talk about two events or activities that went on over the same period of past time, we can often use the past simple and past continuous with the same meaning. Sometimes the past simple and the past continuous can have the same meaning. Maria washed the dishes while Gennaro cleaned the table. Maria was washing the dishes while Gennaro was cleaning the table. These two sentences have the same meaning because the two activities or events went on over the same period of past time. The next advanced rule, we use the past continuous to emphasize that past repeated actions went on for a limited or temporary period of past time. I was playing squash twice a week while I lived in Bali. I was eating healthy 6 days a week during January. We use the past continuous to emphasize that these actions went on for a limited or temporary period of time. We can use the past continuous to talk about something that happened surprisingly often. Last week, I was having to bring work home every evening. This was a surprise. It was unexpected. The neighbors kept coming over, so I was making them tea all the time. It was a surprise that the neighbors kept coming over. We can use either the past simple or the past continuous to talk about things we intended to do but didn't. I meant to write you a letter last week. I was meaning to write you a letter last week. For things we intended to do but didn't do, we have a choice. We can use past simple or past continuous with the same meaning. Here are some more examples of that rule. I was hoping to see her before she left, but she was too busy. She was considering writing him a letter, but didn't. They were intending to open a new business, but they couldn't raise enough money. In these sentences, you could also use the past simple. I hoped to see her. She considered writing. They intended to open. And in this case, past simple and past continuous will have the same meaning. The next rule, we can use past continuous to report what we might do in the future. I was thinking of starting a new business. She was wondering about inviting Daniel over for dinner next weekend. They were planning to host a barbecue next week. These are things that we might do in the future. It's kind of strange that we use the past continuous in this case, but in fact we do. We don't use past continuous with state verbs. Here's an example. The couple were owning a house. Does that sound right to you? The couple were owning a house? No. The couple had owned a house. So with state verbs, the continuous tense doesn't really make sense. I covered state verbs in some of the other lessons, but basically, state verbs are verbs which describe a state of being. They don't describe an action. That's the end of the advanced rules for past continuous. We're going to do a short quiz to test your knowledge. This is multiple choice. Please pause the video and try to find the answer. The answer is, when it was raining, I went out to buy bread. I knew she was playing chess, so I didn't make any noise. This is fill in the blanks. Read the verbs and put them into the correct sentence in the proper form, the past continuous form. Okay, I'm going to read the answers for you. Last I heard, she was working at the regional office. Look over there, that dog was chasing a bird. My friend Michaela was traveling around the world this year. Your poor attendance record was hurting our company's reputation. We were sitting in my living room listening to music. And now we have a composition exercise. So get a piece of paper and write 5 sentences with the following verbs and put them into the past continuous form. And that's the end of the lesson for today. Good luck studying the past continuous, and stick around to watch the rest of the videos about the 12 English tenses.